Minister of Defense, MOD, addressed the second edition of the biannual Naval Commanders Conference. India's initiatives to establish leadership in IOR. Indian Ocean Rim Association, IORA, an intergovernmental organization established in 1997 to strengthen regional cooperation within IOR. Information Fusion Center, Indian Ocean Region, IFC-IOR, hosted by the Indian Navy to further maritime safety and security in IOR. Mahasagar, Maritime Heads for Active Security and Growth for All in the Region, Indian Navy's Outreach Initiative. Neighborhood First Policy, Sagar, Hadar initiatives, like Vaccine Muthri, Operation Karuna, etc. Union Minister of Cooperation launches initiatives to strengthen cooperatives sector. Key initiatives launched Margadarshika, Action Plan for 2 lakh new multipurpose primary agricultural cooperative societies, PACs, dairy, and fishery cooperatives. The Milk Revolution, popularly known as White Revolution, started in 1970 with the program Operation Flood. Operation Flood was implemented in 3 phases. Phase I, 1970-80 linked 18 milksheds to 4 major cities, Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai. Phase II, 1981-1985 established 43,000 village cooperatives, boosting milk powder production from 22,000 to 140,000 tons. Phase III, 1985 to 1996 added 30,000 new cooperatives, emphasis on research and development in animal health, etc. Governing AI for Humanity, UN Advisory Body on Artificial Intelligence Final Report. Recommendations and Independent International Scientific Panel on AI. Twice-yearly intergovernmental and multi-stakeholder policy dialogue on AI governance. Creation of an AI Standards Exchange, bringing together stakeholders. Creation of an AI capacity development network. Creation of a global fund for AI to facilitate access to AI. Creation of global AI data framework, developed through a process initiated by a relevant agency. AI Office within the UN Secretariat for supporting and coordinating global efforts in AI risk management and global governance. The government is reported to have approved fencing the entire 1,643 km porous India-Myanmar border at an approximate cost of 31,000 rupees. About porous border definition. Porous border refers to border areas not protected enough to stop people going through. It could be both open, unfenced, and closed, fenced. Popular discontent due to cross-border ethnic ties. For example, Zo Reunification Organization of Mizoram protested against government's decision to fence the India-Myanmar border and suspend the Free Movement Regime, FMR. FATF launched Mutual Evaluation Report, MER, for India. MER is an assessment of a country's measures to combat ML and TF and the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction. India, along with 4 other G20 countries, UK, France, Italy, and suspended Russia, is in the top regular follow-up category. Most developing countries fall under the enhanced follow-up category, requiring annual reports compared to every 3 years for regular follow-up countries. 7 Net Zero Climate Resilient City Action Plans, CAP 2070 released. They are released at the National Workshop on Multilevel Action for Climate Resilient Cities in line with India's goal of achieving net zero emissions by 2070. Initiatives for Climate Resilient Cities Capacity Building for Low Carbon and Climate Resilient City Development, Capacities, project by Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation, SDC, for mainstreaming climate action in urban development. India's Climate Smart Cities Assessment Framework, assessment of smart cities performance based on 5 themes to tackle climate change. Resilient Cities Network, R-Cities launched in 2020 for improving climate resilience based on 3 pillars: climate resilience, circularity and equity. The Jharkhand government has filed a contempt petition against the centre alleging delay in appointment of the Chief Justice of the High Court. About contempt of court defined under Contempt of Courts Act, 1971. Article 129 and Article 215 give power to the SC and HCs to punish contempt. Revised guidelines for electric vehicle charging stations. Tariff for electricity supply to charging station shall not exceed average cost of supply till 31st March 2028. The Indore Municipal Corporation produces 17,000 kilograms of bio-CNG every day from Asia's largest municipal solid waste-based facility. The plant was launched in 2022. It is part of Galvanizing Organic Bioagro Resources Dhan, GOBR initiative to turn waste into wealth. About GOBR initiative, the Department of Drinking Water and Sanitation of Ministry of Jal Shakti is the coordinating department. Fast Track Immigration, Trusted Travelers Program, FTITTP. In June 2024, the FTITTP was inaugurated at Indira Gandhi International Airport, New Delhi. About FTITTP Nodal Ministry, Ministry of Home Affairs objective to speed up the immigration clearance process for eligible persons at select major airports through electronic gates. 2 phases. In the first phase, Indian citizens and OCI cardholders are covered, and in the second phase, foreign travelers will be covered. Airports covered, 21 major airports in the country will be covered. Nodal Agency, Bureau of Immigration. Manipur's Tamengalong district imposes a ban on hunting of Amur falcon. About Amur falcon, it is locally known as Kahuai Puina in Manipur. Migratory raptors make voyage from breeding grounds in Russia and China to southern Africa. 22,000 kilometers journey, longest sea crossing of any raptors. Feeds on dragonflies that follow a similar migration path over Arabian Sea. IUCN Red List status, least concern. Bangalore-based space startup Bellatrix Aerospace unveiled a Project 200. About Project 200, it is an innovative satellite designed to operate at an ultra-low Earth orbit, 180 kilometers to 250 kilometers. Advantage of ultra-low, at 200 kilometers, a satellite's capability would improve significantly due to reduced communication latency and improved image resolution. Cost of the satellite is also low. So far, limitations on propulsion technology have prevented satellites from operating at this orbit. Conventional LEO satellites typically orbit well above 400-450 kilometers. National Disaster Management Authority and Southern Command of the Indian Army are set to host the exercise Akya in Chennai, Tamil Nadu. The exercise's primary objective is to improve disaster preparedness and foster strong collaboration among key stakeholders. World Health Organization, WHO, declared Jordan as the first country in the world to eliminate leprosy. 20th September 2024 marks the centenary of the announcement of the discovery of the Indus Valley Civilization. At the 3rd edition of World Food India 2024, the Prime Minister said that India has introduced wide-ranging reforms to transform the food processing sector in the last 10 years. World Food India, the Ministry of Food Processing Industries, launched the first edition of World Food India in 2017. MoFPI is also implementing a centrally sponsored scheme, PM Formalization of Micro Food Processing Enterprises Scheme, PMFME, for providing technical, financial and business support for setting up upgradation of 2 lakh micro food processing enterprises. White Revolution. The White Revolution in India, also known as Operation Flood, it was launched in 1970 by the National Dairy Development Board, NDDB. National Program for Dairy Development, NPDD has been in place since 2014. Dairy Entrepreneurship Development Scheme, DEDS is being implemented by the Department of Animal Husbandry, Dairying and Fisheries to create self-employment opportunities in the dairy industry. National Animal Disease Control Program, NADCP, it is a flagship scheme launched in 2019 for control of foot and mouth disease and brucellosis by vaccinating 100% cattle, buffalo, sheep, goat and pig population. National Livestock Mission, NLM. The NLM, launched by the Ministry of Agriculture, aims to ensure sustainable development of the livestock sector, including dairy farming. The government has approved the modified Pradhan Mantri Jaiv Indhan Vatavaran Anukul Fasal Avshesh Nivaran (PMJVAN) Yojana. In 2019, government had notified the Pradhan Mantri Jivan Jaiv Indhan Vatavaran Anukul Fasal Avshesh Nivaran Yojana. It aimed at providing financial support to integrated bioethanol projects for setting up second-generation, 2G, ethanol projects in the country using lignocellulosic biomass and other renewable feedstocks. It now includes advanced biofuels produced from lignocellulosic feedstocks, such as agricultural and forestry residues, industrial waste, synthesis, SYN, gas, algae, etc. within its scope. It also helps in achieving India's ambitious target for net zero GHG emissions by 2070. Kerala has initiated research on amoebic meningoencephalitis through a One Health platform to study environmental factors and improve diagnostic methods. It is a rare but lethal central nervous system infection caused by free-living amoebae, FLA, found in freshwater, lakes and rivers. There are 2 types, primary amoebic meningoencephalitis, PAM, caused by Naegleria fowleri, and granulomatous amoebic encephalitis, GA. Both have high fatality rates, with PAM primarily affecting children and young adults. Introduction of miltefosine, an antiparasitic drug, was a key addition to the treatment protocol, alongside amphotericin B, contributing to better outcomes in patients. Green hydrogen can substitute fossil fuels in blast and shaft furnaces and is being explored for 100% hydrogen-based direct reduced iron (DRI). Research is underway, with Tata Steel and JSW leading efforts in India. Hydrogen injection can reduce coke consumption and CO2 emissions. If green hydrogen costs decrease to around $1 per kilogram, consumption could rise significantly. Recently, the Union Cabinet approved 4 space projects to be undertaken by Indian Space Research Organisation, ISRO. Newly approved space projects include Chandrayaan-4, Venus Orbiter Mission, VOM, Bharatiya Antariksh Station, BUS and Next Generation Launch Vehicle, NGLV. The Economic Advisory Council to the Prime Minister, EACPM, recently released a report titled Relative Economic Performance of Indian States, 1960-61 to 2023-24. Southern States Growth. Southern States, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, have emerged as major contributors to India's GDP, accounting for 30% by March 2024. Their growth accelerated post-liberalization, with significant advancements in sectors like technology and industry. West Bengal's per capita income fell from 127.5% of the national average in the 1960s to 83.7% in 2024, now behind Rajasthan and Odisha. Punjab versus Haryana. Punjab has seen stagnation in economic growth since 1991, with per capita income falling to 106% of the national average. In contrast, Haryana has experienced substantial growth, with per capita income rising to 176.8%. Gujarat, 160.7% of the national average, and Maharashtra, 150.7% of the national average, have maintained above-average incomes since the 1960s. Sikkim's per capita income rose from 93% of the national average in 1990 to 91 to 319% in 2023 to 24, while Goa's increased from 144% in 1970 to 71 to 290%. Recently, a rainwater harvesting project in Kerala led to the discovery of a large number of megalithic urn burials. These findings were unearthed on Kundalikkad Hill, also known as Malmupalla or Malappuram Hill, in the Nenmara Forest Division. An urn burial is a type of burial where the remains of a deceased person are placed in a pottery vessel or urn and buried. The Thermal Infrared Imaging Satellite for High-Resolution Natural Resource Assessment Trishna mission is a collaborative endeavor between the Indian Space Research Organisation (ISRO) and the French space agency CNES. Square Kilometre Array (SCA), the world's largest radio telescope in the making, has carried out its first observations, signaling that at least a part of the yet-to-be-completed facility has become functional. An elaborate attack by an Al-Qaeda affiliate in Mali's capital killed some 70 people recently. There are many ethnic groups in Mali. The largest of them is Bambara, making up 36.5% of the population. It gained independence from France in 1960. Pulikali, a vibrant recreational folk art from Kerala, is an integral part of the state's cultural heritage. This captivating performance is held annually during the Onam festival, which is Kerala's largest and most significant harvest celebration. On the fourth day of Onam, also known as Nalam Onam or Chathayam, trained artists perform Pulikali to entertain the masses. Pulikali is predominantly performed in Kerala's Thrissur district, where it enjoys a 200-year-old tradition. Pulikali traces its origins back to the reign of Maharaja Ramavarma Sakthan Thampuran, the ruler of Cochin over 200 years ago. An advanced PAP, APAP, pen is a hydrophobic barrier pen used in laboratory applications to draw barriers on glass slides to confine the flow of reagents. PAP pen that does not require any machinery or heating drying steps and adopts a DIY approach. Recent analysis using the APAP pen, the fabrication of two-dimensional, 2D, paper-based devices for chemical detection of heavy metal and nitrite can be done. $1 represents the distance between Earth and the Sun. Antimatter is the twin of almost all the subatomic particles that make up the universe. The matter in universe comes in many forms like solids, liquids, gases, and plasmas. These forms of matter all consist of subatomic particles that give matter its mass and volume. These particles include protons and neutrons, also known as baryons, electrons and neutrinos, also known as leptons, and a variety of other particles in the Standard Model of Particle Physics. Protons and neutrons are themselves made up of particles known as quarks and gluons. But matter can have an opposite in the form of antimatter. All the subatomic particles in matter either have their own anti-twins, antiquarks, antiprotons, antineutrons, and antileptons such as antielectrons. These antiparticles can combine to form antiatoms and, in principle, could even form antimatter regions of the universe. Antimatter is made up of special particles that are like opposites to the ones in regular matter, having opposite electrical charges. In antimatter, there are antiparticles like positrons, positively charged electrons. When antimatter particles meet their matching matter particles, they cancel each other out, releasing a lot of energy. Antimatter is rare in the observable universe, but scientists find it in places with lots of energy, like cosmic rays and certain experiments in labs. British physicist Paul Dirac predicted antimatter in 1928 while trying to combine quantum mechanics, which describes subatomic particles, and Einstein's theory of relativity. Positrons were discovered by American California Institute of Technology physicist Carl Anderson. Dirac and Anderson received the Nobel Prize in Physics for their work on this discovery in 1933 and in 1936 respectively. Humans have created antimatter particles using ultra-high-speed collisions at huge particle accelerators such as the Large Hadron Collider, located outside Geneva and operated by CERN, European Organization for Nuclear Research. Several experiments at CERN create antihydrogen, the antimatter twin of the element hydrogen. The most complex antimatter element produced to date is antihelium, the counterpart to helium. The Union Cabinet has approved the continuation of the Pradhan Mantri Annadata Sanaksha Abhiyan (PM-ASHA) schemes to ensure farmers get fair prices and stabilize consumer prices of essential goods. MSP does not have any legal basis, but has been implemented since the 1960s with the following objectives: ensuring food security in the country, protection from price drop for farmers, incentivize desirable crop production. While countries are still struggling to come to an agreement over the quantum of finance that developed nations must mobilize in the coming years to fight climate change, Azerbaijan, the host of this year's climate conference, has decided to launch a new fund to finance climate action. The Climate Finance Action Fund, CFAF, would seek voluntary contributions from fossil fuel producing countries and companies, with Azerbaijan, itself a petroleum economy, making the initial contribution.